Okay, welcome back to The Executioner and Her Way of Life, Anime Review episode number 3. This is reviewing 5 episodes. Yes, 5 of the 6 remaining episodes for the first season of the show. Yes, I say first season because there probably is going to be a season 2. Now, this one discussing episodes 7 through 11. We actually start off with Minnow and Aki, where they're leaving the previous town they were just in, and they're going to this particular port as a stopping point before they go on their pilgrimage. So, they have to go to this place called Sanctuary. Okay. So they arrive there. Now, she basically has been here before, but basically she does remember because she's playing along. Like, she doesn't know. She apparently is on time loop multiple times, rewinding the world. So they get there, they see some sights. They come across a castle, and they can't go there because Minnow says the only way to get there is by special invitation, or basically special gatherings for nobles. The castle is owned by a count, but the count himself is not the one running the castle, it's actually his daughter, which is revealed in these episodes that her mother was an outworlder. Yes, which means she's from Japan, and she's kind of crazy. And she has a history with Minnow's mentor, Flare. Yes, so eventually they somehow also come across a subplot in this thing. Basically, this drug spread around. I mean, last episode was about missing girls. This time it's about a drug. The drug turns you into monsters. And people are addicted to it. So they have fighting a couple people in the street. And we do see the main villain of this arc. We could see, from what I can tell, you probably would think, based on her actions, to see the first half of these episodes, that's the Count's daughter main villain. Well, she actually is a collaborator with basically the giant fog that's near the city. This permanent fog that surrounds the border of the city. Yes, apparently that was caused by human error. You're probably thinking, human error? Yes, it's an actual thing. Usually human error refers to a different definition, but this is referred to as one of the big calamities. And apparently there are monsters inside this fog. Oh yes, there are freaking monsters. They even show one later on look like a giant squid monster. Who, by the way, uses tentacles. And you're thinking, tentacles. And by the way, the princess that showed up in this arc, with Minnow into the fighting later on, you are thinking, oh, do these tentacles wrap up in their clothes? And do they shred their clothes and start basically just doing something inappropriate to them? No, not really. That does not happen at all. Nope. They explain later on it's because it's not fully through yet. So Minnow takes Aki through a fog and puts her on a boat and sends her into the thing to possibly kill her that way. But no, that doesn't work because she's like, I'm not going to die here. No, she rewinds time, gets out of the thing, and then she apparently fell asleep because of sleeping pills that Minnow gave her. And they go back to the pastor, which, by the way, apparently the Faust Church is all run by women. There's a pastor, there's a woman. Now, you probably thinking, is pastors normally it's a position held by guys? Not necessarily, because I actually know a female pastor. This is nothing really new. This is something really happened in our world, so there's that. There's also a party going on, yes. And Momo's here, and she gets basically an invite from, of course, the princess who's going, though she has put on a dress per se because she's rebellious, so she's also hot too. Yep. And she and Momo basically have sort of a rivalry each other. And they have this wonderful scene of them drinking in a bar. Yeah, great scene. It's almost like, the way this scene is written, it's almost like basically that the princess basically wants to take Momo to her room and basically have sex with her. That's basically how the thing is written, because it's similar to how you see like in a bar, you see a beautiful woman in a bar and a guy walks up and they hit it off and then later on they do the thing together. That's normally how stuff like this works. And this scene is written to be very similar to, except it's basically two women, not a guy and a girl. Yep, and then Minnow, of course, it's actually Momo infiltrates the Mesa operations. Finds out, we do see there is an Iron Maiden there. Yes, the first series I've seen Iron Maiden, and matter of fact, I just saw in Shaman King, not just a few months ago. So we see this mysterious little girl who gets impaled And then it turns out that when Momo tries to remove from the Iron Maiden, who's actually called his death, the Iron Maiden explodes. Yes, by the way, even though she's short, they put her on a stool. Apparently, she's not really into it at all. She's basically out. And apparently, like, oh, she's evil because she puts basically a child in Iron Maiden, which totally impales her. And then when, of course, she gets moved, the thing blows up, and one of the spikes hit Momo, poisoning her. Though she's able to get back to church and able to heal her right away. Well, she's able to survive, but she's still poisoned. So basically, well, Minnow gets informed about this, and later on, of course, we do see Aki interacting with her while she's in bed. This is probably the first these two have ever shared a screen together the whole entire series so far. Yep, and all this stuff is like going out of control. The main villains, the supporting villains this arc are basically the Fourth. Yes, they're a group of evil nobility known for terrorist actions. When Momo infiltrates their private base, she comes across basically what she describes. It's a different name, but appearance-wise, these things look like Lugers. Lugers, if you don't know what the heck these things are, these were German pistols used in World War II. I know about these things because I've seen pictures of the damn things and I've seen them in movies. These things exist. It's like the people who made this series basically took inspiration from the German Lugers for these guns. That or probably the creator of the original light novels today. So she's like, oh, this is possible between you guys and, well, terrorists in the train. As far as I can tell so far, that's not really explained what the heck these guns come from. And later on that when she finds the Iron Maiden stuff. Yep. So she figured out that the Count is able to be involved with this. So Minnow convinces the past to ask the Knights to help to seal out the island and arrest the Fourth. And here's the thing. They're able to... The Fourth able to get out. That's why briefly frozen now by Aki, though they're able to get out thanks to her. Apparently, all stuff is changing. Yeah, this is actually due to her fault, per se. All the strange stuff happening. Like the monster stuff, which is kind of interesting. Because she didn't die in that fog. All because she wound time inside the fog. And that unlocked the... It's basically entity involving chaos. Yes. So she is asked, of course she asked about Japan. She does not remember Japan barely at all. She remembers she's from there. She has no memories of Japan because she does not want to go back. She does feel a little bit later on that when she talks to, well, an entity from that fog, where she doesn't want to remember Japan at all because it was basically a very corrupt place, very rotten. That's according to her. She has no desire to go back there at all, despite the fact she is from there and she's not from this world. All she wants is stay with Minnow. Yep. By the way, when she interacts with Momo, she missed the moment that she actually hates her because she wants to basically have Minnow alters. Because basically, Momo wants Minnow alter herself because she's got a crush on her. Aki's got the same thing too. We also do see the first ever also interaction between Minnow and the princess. The first time they briefly fight is when she conceals her face. So later on, they actually do team up with each other. They don't fight each other per se. They team up each other with a monster. Of course, she's there because she's a princess. And she's able to basically convince the knights to, well, they all take orders from her because she's a princess. And of course, lots of destruction of the castle. Very beautiful castle this is. Too bad it's destroyed. Yeah. So, and then of course, basically the Count's daughter, yeah, she apparently her mother was killed by Flare, and apparently of course, Aki probably asked the question, does she want to get revenge against Minnow because she's the apprentice of the woman who killed her mother? She's like, no, she has no desire for that at all. She just wants her life to end. Yeah, that's pretty much the reason for it, and she asked Flare to kill her, and Flare's like, why would I want to kill you for? You've done nothing wrong. You're just an ordinary girl. And of course her father tried to convince everybody, oh yeah, they thought they were going... Now her father doesn't appear in these episodes at all. Nope, does not appear at all. So, there's like two different action scenes here. Aki basically talks to her, like, she kind of basically tells her to leave. Well, thanks for convincing, she does leave. And of course, Aki, when she briefly as well disappears per se, but she does reunite. But there's a lot of stuff happening in these episodes. But definitely with the very next episode of the series, that's everything going to wrap up pretty much this particular set of episodes for what it is. Yep. But it's really good. I'm thoroughly enjoying. Oh, there was a good moment at the start of this when they first arrived in the city. We have Minho and Aki sharing a bath together. Yeah, they share a bath together. And this is presumably also Aki's first time seeing Minho butt naked. Yep. Yeah. And also the fact that Momo basically transfers recordings via her scripture. And it's also revealed the source of the scripture here. It's basically based on ether, the magic stuff here. Yeah, it's revealed. It also mentioned about a hero. I think they refer to it as a bronze hero, I think it is. Or at least a hero that Minho has never heard of before. Apparently this hero was from another world. And this hero indirectly caused all the other Outworlds to be executed when they're summoned here. Yeah. I do think it's quite interesting to bring this up, but who this is, I don't know, because I haven't fully read the light novels much so far. I've only read the first 2 so far. And you're probably asking, does the light novels especially for book 2, does it stay close? Kind of, yes, but I finished the book up pretty quickly. The book itself is only 222 pages, in case you're wondering. And definitely the book itself does take up these episodes, but they kind of basically just speed things along a little bit. But I'm enjoying this so far. The way it seems as though we watch the episode, it seems that they're going through the plot a little too quickly. It's like halfway through these episodes, we basically start the major fight sequence, which is strange, but I don't have a really big issue with it at all. There's also a nod to the previous arc here with when Aki tried to use her power on that white stuff and previously she tried to use on the creature there. It doesn't work on her. Nope. As the reason for it, don't know. And apparently she's around the world several times. So, yeah, she's causing the world to become warped. So, a lot of stuff happening is indirectly her fault. Yep. But yeah, that's the particular view. Stay tuned. I don't know if I'll get time to do another episode right now because I got a stream to do in 21 minutes. So, probably after this stream, I'll probably work on the final episode of The Execution Way of Life, and I'll give you my final thoughts on that. So it looks like this video series will wrap up with only 5 videos. And yes, as soon as I finish watching the 12th episode, I will then basically resume watching Shuriken. Okay? Next video. Bye.